Hello boys and girls, my name is Nikki. The PTR patch that came a couple of weeks ago is finally live since yesterday. Has been a couple of changes, but I'm actually going to go through everything because I think most people have already forgotten what even happened on the PTR. So let's start with this. General, Anduin has replaced Morfurion as the ally hero in Tri mode. Whatever. Numerous game string have been updated to reflect current gameplay. I also don't know what's up with that. Update home screen and startup music. All fine and dandy. Now let's start with the big changes here. Storm League. These are high ranked important changes, especially in the Master Grandmaster rank. So if you're not in there, that probably not gonna concern you as much. But rank decay will now only apply to players in Master and Grandmaster leagues. That means that if you're Diamond, your rank is no longer gonna decay. You know that 30-day timer? If you're Diamond or below, you don't have to worry about it. So, much better for the more casual players that are now even in Diamond. Reduce the maximum party size for Master and Grandmaster players to 2. This is a great change. I've been a big advocate of bring back Hero League, and I think this might be the closest we're gonna get to that. So, no more 3 stacks, no more 4 stacks, no more 5 stacks for Masters and Grandmasters. And the one thing that those people have been abusing is they are a single Grandmaster player and they stack with 4 Diamond 5s. And they boost their accounts. You making this down to 2 means not only you're not gonna get that insane pre-mates, Smurfs, but also this comes into play with the new third change they did. Master and Grandmaster players can only party with players 5,000 rank points away from them. So, on the higher hand, I'm gonna give you an example of the low end of things of this. So, 5,000 rank points is actually the amount of points for one division. So, from Platinum to Diamond, that's 5,000. From Diamond to Master, 5,000. So, let's say you're a Master 1,000 player. You won't be able to pre-made with a Diamond 5 anymore. Now, the thing is that people that were smurfing were decaying their accounts to Diamond 5, and now no longer decays are gonna affect them. So the smurfs might stay around Diamond 1. So they would be able to pre-made with those people, but you can only pre-made with one person now. So what this helps with as well is that not only the GM number 5 cannot pre-made with a Diamond 5, but this also helps with if the guy is starting to rise in rank, let's say he is now at 6,000 point Master, he can no longer pre-made with Diamonds. That account needs to be 1,000 point. So this is a very good change. It's gonna not disqualify, not the word I'm looking for, but discourage unrighteous pre-mating. A great change. I'm really loving it. Next, balance updates, Heroes Ana. Bionic Grenade W. If Bionic Grenade does not hit any enemies, its cooldown is reduced by 3. New functionality. This also includes any type of enemies, not only heroes. So if you don't hit like a minion, as well. So it needs to not hit anything besides an ally. So that's a great change. Big buff to Ana, 3 seconds on the grenade. Another if Bionic Grenade only hits Ana, its cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds. Now, I am pretty sure that the way they worded this, those two things should stack. So, if you're in the middle of nowhere getting ganked by Genji or Zeratul, you put a grenade on top of yourself, that's boom, minus 5 seconds. If you don't hit like the Zeratul as well. That's insane. Even though the grenade, let me actually check in. Was it like 12 to 16 seconds or something? It was a pretty decent cooldown. 16 seconds, yeah. So, still minus 5, we'll take it. Level 1 Vampiric Round. Strike now gives 15% passive healing bonus. So they're finally above the auto attack talent just a little bit to make it a bit more enjoyable to take. Now, let me check this real quick. Strike.
Let up until the last enemy has fallen.
So pretty much Here on Shrike, I'm seeing it right now. I'm even gonna minimize it for you guys so you can have a visual representation as well. So you know what we're talking about. Shrike trait, the top side of the text. On the bottom, Ana is healed for 60% of the damage dealt by Shrike.
This is much better than a cabana on the beach.
Put that an extra 15 there. That's what they did with this change. Which is still good. Also, what else we have here? Level 20. Deadeye Horus upgrade is now completely different. Eye Horus can now be toggled on and off. It's not a complete... It's not like the baseline Horus where you sit down, 6 shots, poof, poof, and then you need to disable it. Now, you can sit down, poof, back away, and you keep your shots. I have Horus rounds are regained once every 10 seconds as well. And I have Horus cooldown is now 6 seconds. So you start on a 6-second cooldown, but it starts stacking up. Oh, 10-second cooldown on the... You have 2 stacks. 20 seconds, 3 stacks of Horus. Bonuses acquired from data now last 4 seconds. Let me check again on the Ana in-game. What was the previous timer? Was it 5 seconds? That's the 5% they're talking about. I have Horus cooldown. Oh, it's the new! I cannot see. Oh, there is on the bottom. For every hero hit increases damage and healing by 5%. This bonus resets after living I have Horus or after 4 seconds. Yeah, I don't remember what was the old amount. I think it was around 5. So between 3 and 5. This is probably not that important. Okay, let's see what else we have here. We're done with Diana. Oreo. Bestow Hope, finally a little bit of nerf. Oreo has been a super dominating hero. I don't think those nerf changes are enough though. Reduce amount of energy stored from 40 to 35 to non-heroes. So they nerfed the PvE generation by 5%. I don't think that's enough. And reduce the amount of energy stored from heroes by 10%. I think that's fair. I feel like the PvE was buffed too much. And I think the heroes is also a little bit... I think this is a good start to see where Oreo is gonna land. Maybe 2 hard changes is gonna kind of bring her back at the same place. I think that's fair. Alright, Asmodon, Trample added functionality now reduce heroic cooldown by 20% of the Trample hits by 20%, 25% if Trample hits a hero. So let me bring you the Asmodon in game so you have a visual representation on the numbers here real quick. Trample, if I remember, was a 20 or 25 second cooldown level 16 talent. There it is here, 20. So every 20 seconds, if you hit only one hero, it doesn't increase if you hit more than one hero. Once per hero, you drop the heroic by 25%. So let's see both of the heroic choices. Tie the sync goes from 20 to 15 seconds. This seems the less good choice you would want to take a cooldown reduction for. Even though you could maybe burst more often. But also, this is like 20, this is 20. But then you cast this is 20, this is 15. You kinda... I feel like that those two don't benefit as much from each other. Demonic Evasion, however, much bigger cooldown to reduce from 100 to 75. And then, if 20 seconds pass, that becomes 55. In the most ideal world, from 55, you're gonna reduce it to 20. So a total, you can drop it 50 seconds, half, by hitting 2 heroes in the span of those 100 seconds. Which is pretty good. I mean, now the thing is that, do you want to cast Demonic Evasion as twice as often, or do you want to buff Demon Warriors? I think the Trample would be the right choice, honestly. Now the thing is that you actually need to interact with enemy heroes, which is kind of counterintuitive to PvE playstyle. So there's that. I think this was a great change though. Asmodon, you know, a great change for the hero to make it a bit more popular, but I don't like that it's enabling more of the split push Asmodon playstyle, but it is what it is. We'll take it, you know. Asmo needs some love. Enough with high meta assassins. Alright, what else we have here? ATC face melt cooldown reduction by 2 seconds. So this is kind of insane. this is, you can peel more often now, quite a lot more often with HC. And I think this comes into play with another talent that we're gonna might check on the bottom, or not. If not, a little bit, I'm gonna tell you about it. That's another 13 talent. But Rockstar Trade also, base armor increased by 5, gonna make general HC more beefy with baseline abilities, while the heroic ability armor drops by 10. I don't think the 10 drop was necessary, but giving him an overall baseline of 5 and then dropping only the heroic on 10, I think it's fair, considering all the good stuff he's getting. Cooldown reduction from Crowd Surfer dropped by 1 second, so you won't be able to be surfing around as much. I think it dropped it to 4, now it's gonna drop it to 5. I think that's more fair. Big change here on Hammer On, the auto attack level 7 talent. Basic attack deal 12 more damage, increased to 36 while Guitar Solo is active. Now, a lot of people were asking me about this, they didn't get it. What this means is that ATC, if you choose the Hammer On talent, now you get a baseline passive 12% auto attack damage. Like straight, you start chopping for 12% extra. And when you click your E, instead of 12, it jumps up to 36. The previous was 35, if I remember. So, even though the last result is plus 1% buff, you get a baseline of 12%. You know, maybe not always you're gonna be able to activate your E to do the basic auto attack damage. This one. That also heals, increases the duration of the soul. So you're gonna get more crit heal. But honestly, it's honestly more for the E ability. I mean, at what point do you even not use E to auto attack once your auto attack HC build? You even use it for PV. Well, you know, maybe in between if you didn't have enough cooldown reduction or if you're out of mana, that is gonna help. What else we have here? Encore cooldown reduction reduced from 5 to 4. I think that's very good because Encore has been kind of the go-to talent. It gives you a huge cooldown reduction, especially if you hit on 2 or 3 people at the same time to reduce the cooldown of your ult. And on top of that, this would have been a lot more stronger now with a 2-second face melt, so I think this is a fair change. New level 20 talents on HC, but before we go there, I wanted to mention another talent. The level 13 HC talent that it also improves from the baseline 2 seconds, which is Mic Check. Hitting at least 2 heroes reduces its cooldown by 6. So Mic Check now is much better. It drops the cooldown of the pushback ability to 4. So every 4 seconds now you can push away people. Pretty good with pinball, not pinball, but
You got something for me to sign?
wild speakers as well for the extra pill. This is a very cool. You almost like pretty much all up till now has been pretty much Encore play, pretty much on HCO most of the time. Face mate swallows enemies by 50% with decay. This is also something that kind of gets buffed as well. I've never really played with all the other 2 talents because you know, cooldown reduction is tasty. But you know, we're gonna experiment with those. We're gonna see how it goes. Exciting HC times, but also excitement is the new talents here. Power of the Horde activate to grant nearby allied heroes a shield that absorbs damage equal to 30% of their maximum HP for 5 seconds. I think the previous talent was Storm Shield that actually gave 20, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a little bit of a buff. Increased by 2% for each other allied hero in the area. And it replaces the Storm Shield. So, baseline, if you're... Actually, I don't know if you shield yourself with it. It says nearby allied heroes, I'm gonna assume so. But baseline is 30. If you have 4 targets, 4 other allied heroes, that's plus 8% because it says each other. So besides you. But then if you have like some Uroquons or Vikings, it gets even more juicy. So like 42 or something. This is a very good upgrade. Considering I don't know. Almost, you would pretty much only take that if you go like mosh pit, maybe. If you don't want to take the other mosh stuff. I think this is gonna see play. Like 30% is pretty good, man. Ride the lightning, new talent. Activate to teleport to a nearby location and deal a small amount of damage to nearby enemy heroes. The cooldown is reduced by 10 for every enemy hero hit, up to 50. So this replaces the blink, which I think is a baseline of 60 cooldown. Let's see. 70. So
The glory of metal.
cooldown is reduced. So this is very weird because most people use this to teleport a certain distance to line up their Q to get into a mosh, or kinda teleport in between enemies and mosh.
You got some for me to sign?
But now you could also use it in an aggressive way to do damage on top of, I don't know if people are gonna use it as for the aggression, but you know, it's a nice quality of life change with the damage and cooldown reduction. We'll take it. Genji, Pathfinder, heroic ability now heals for additional 10% of the damage dealt to enemy heroes, increased by up to 30% based on how old Genji is. So, if you guys didn't know, the Pathfinder Genji talent got a new function. It's the talent that no one uses, so let me show it to you visually as well, so you guys remember. This one. You get a stealth if you jump through terrain and movement speed, but also now passively, completely for the entire hero, heroic abilities heal him for 10%. So that's both X-Strike and Dragon Blade. And the lower your HP is, the more heal you get. Which is very good in the late game. This talent specifically. If you're planning to go for late game, either Living Weapon or Dragon Blade, this could potentially make you like a one-man army. Now, I've seen some people taste the heal on the PTR. They say it's not very big, but sometimes a small amount is all you need to like get a reset or something like that. So, great quality of life change. And is maybe gonna make Genji players stop taking the only agile dismount cyber shield build, which I'm tired of seeing, honestly. Goddamn Shingan Genji players, man. Is the only that's the only thing they know how to play. What else we have here? X-Strike cooldown increase. Yeah, they nerfing the X-Strike a little bit on the cooldown. This is specifically to make Living Weapon 20 a little bit less easy to pull off, even though they're giving also a bigger cooldown reduction on Living Weapon for each time you hit something. But in general, this is also to make X-Strike less used for, like, let's say, getting away from things and using it for escape as well. They want to make this, but also buffing his damage, to be used more for its appropriate aggression use. I think that's why they're doing this. Shingan now does 40% less damage to structure. A fantastic nerf to the jump build. You're gonna... Some people have been using that to like poke towers and stuff like that and keeps. Especially like, oh, that keep is low, Genji go finish it off with Shingan. Now you're gonna do that less consistently and with much more effort. Imperia's big changes here, ladies and gentlemen. Molten Armor. This is your ability Molten Armor. Now hits 2 extra targets if no heroes are in range. This is insane. Like, the Molten Armor would only hit 1 target. Baseline. Ability. Striding a nearby enemy for damage. Imperious heals for 50%. The damage increased to 100% against the heroes. A nearby enemy. So, this is the same if it's only if heroes is around. If any heroes are around, this is the same as always. But if no heroes are around, you can actually use this for PvE now. It's gonna hit 2 extra minions. So, you know, you're not gonna feel... You'll be able to feel like you can use all your abilities now inside a minion wave more, what you call it, more productively. Especially if, like, let's say, maybe you're playing an Imperials on Braxis, the enemy solo laner doesn't want to trade into you. Maybe you heal up a little bit more from the healing, from the minion wave, and get back into better shape. So this makes Imperials a better sustained duelist as well, by positioning himself in minions. What else we have here? Impaling, a light level 1 Q talent, cooldown reduced by 2, which is a big buff. Does 180% more damage, reduced by 20 for each additional hero hit. This is also a buff because I think baseline... The baseline buff back in the day was less that it got changed to, so this is still good. Impaling line mana cost reduced by 10. This is also very good. When the Varioles branded target stun ends, Impaling line cooldown is reduced by 1 second for each Varioles brand on the target. I don't remember how this was changed. I think it was a bit more. I think it was 125. Now it's 1. Because this is now baseline reduced by 2. So I think everything this is fair, and this is overall a buff to Q level 1. Blaze Quarry, we have a little bit of a nerf here. Delay reduced from 2 to 175. Oh no, this is the... Sorry, this is not the Holy Favor talent. This is the line talent. This is a buff to the... When you cast your W straight far line, you get a secondary line explosion that happens a bit faster. Molten Armor no longer grants Holy Favor. Now this is a small nerf here, I think, which is very well founded. This is the Wave Clear Sword talent. You could use 4 stacks of it baseline, but once you use your Molten Armor, you would get 2 stacks when you use the ability. Now those 2 stacks are gone. I think that's very fair. Because this was very strong. And it would make the other talents not very enjoyable to pick, because this was so overpowered. Now, level 20, new Imperious talents. Heavenly Host. All shields created by Angelic Ardaments no longer expired. This is a huge buff to the level 20 shield talent on Imperious. If you would take this talent, it would have a limited shield like a Lucio shield ultimate on everyone that would be removed. Now they keep the shield permanently until they lose it. Swords fired by the Heavenly Host shield can target non-heroes, but heroes are prioritized. So I'm gonna show you visually this talent because many people don't even take this. Heavenly Host.
Before the might of heaven.
It's actually not set here, but it's here in its baseline. Summon a shield. The 20 gives now a AoE shield. If the shield lasts the full duration, this ability can be reactivated 5 seconds to launch 6 swords towards an area. Wait, it should be written here though. Oh, there it is. If a shield granted to an ally lasts 3 seconds, it fires 1 sword at a nearby enemy, prioritizing heroes, dealing 140 damage. So, this is actually very dope, because you could kind of use this to burst someone. Let's say you engage on someone, and you pop your shield, then a sword is gonna fire from everyone on top of the 5 swords you have on that target. That's a shit ton of damage. That's a lot more damage that you can do with Rata the Angiris. The downside is you don't have CC, but look at this. Rata the Angiris, 250 damage. Increased by 20 for each brand. So at most you would be able to do like what? 400. Angelic Ornaments, however, 140, 6 swords if you aim them correctly. That's 900 damage. On top of 4 extra swords you're gonna give for the same amount to other people around you. For another maybe 400, 500 and something. So that's a lot of damage if you pull everything off. And the closest enemy hero is 1 and the others are spread out from him. So there's a water burst potential here and a water shield. This is a great change on Imperials, guys. There's a big possibilities here we can explore. And it's gonna make the shield talent a lot more enjoyable to pick now as well. Another level 20 though for Imperials. Molten Rat. Molten Armor will now hit 2 extra targets even if enemy heroes are in range. So now this makes a completely new build for Imperius. It makes a build around his Molten Armor. So this now can, on level 20, can hit 3 heroes at the same time. And this can benefit with other talents, such as you can keep an armor more often with the level 4. Which, damaging an enemy hero with Molten Armor increases the duration. So, this should be able to stack as well.
We do not have the luxury of time.
So, let's see. How much is the duration of Molten Armor? 3 seconds. Every 0.5 seconds. So 4 times a second, 12 hits. 12 hits increase the duration by 0.5. So that's extra 6-second duration if you stand close to one hero.
If I desire inaction,
Which means it's 6 plus 1.5, 7.5. Now let's see what is the cooldown of Molten Armor. 12. So
before the might.
stop stalking Imperials, man. So if you hit 2 to 3 heroes, you would have a permanent 20 armor. Which is pretty good. On top of that, you can also go for another talent, another 2 talents. Consuming a variance reduces the cooldown of Molten Armor. Potentially, you can use Molten Armor often, or hit a battle. Increase Molten Armor's healing against enemy heroes by 2% for each 1% healing I'm missing. Man, hit a battle would be insane, because it's gonna hit 3 heroes at the same time. So 3 times you're gonna get the heal increased. You're gonna be like a fucking Mal'Ganis walking around the enemy team. This is so exciting. I'm actually super... I wanna check this. Melting Touch as well, minus 25. Molten Rat, the new. Yeah, the Angiris counter. Imperius is sounding very exciting with the changes, guys, I'll tell you that. Wunara. Level 7 Splintered Spear, new functionality. Now grants 3 stacks of Splintered Spear. A stack is consumed when an extra target is attacked. Can have a maximum of 3 stacks, and all stacks can be consumed in a single stack. So... what this does is that Splintered Spear was a normal splash. Now, what this changes is, if there is no one around and if it's one guy, the splash, you're gonna keep it for the future. If it's, again, a lot of targets, the splash is gonna get spread out and you're gonna lose all your stacks. So this is like a good quality allies change, that you don't lose your splash to like a single target if you're trading. Endless Spores now also refunds 50 mana. You're gonna make... this is actually insane, because one of the things that has been holding out this build, which is spamming everywhere and applying poison to everything, is the mana requirement for it. So this is a great thing. And a new talent, turn 1 Vine, now shoots out 4 additional vines in an arc for the Wildlands. Now, you probably have seen screenshots of this, but pretty much Vine is now on 20. If you upgrade, it's a shotgun.
Allies of the forest are welcome.
So, not 1 line, 5 line, like, poof. So, now, this is actually pretty good if you're planning to go for the Endless Spore build. Now, the thing is that you have to sacrifice 3 stacks Toxin. So it's up to you if you how you want to play that.
Waited too long.
And the next change to be considered also as well is Forest Rat can now be selected with either Heroic. This is something people have been confused about. Wunara's Heroic now applies 2 stacks of Nature Toxin, and his range is increased by 30. And Wunara's Vision is increased by 35. So this was the previous level 20 upgrade for Vine. Now, think about this, like, you can take this for Leap as well.
I'm not going to do anything cheap.
Instead of taking Boundless Leap, which refunds both of your jump charges, You can now upgrade Lip. You can jump 30% increase range, which is very strong. You have more vision, so not only you can jump further away, you can see further away to jump further away. And the jump applies
I
2
have
stacks
waited
instantly.
too long.
And honestly, I feel like most people would upgrade this over this. Because this is nice and all, but this is gonna make jump a lot more safer to play. So, I don't know. You have choices. We have choices, you have adaptability. That's what we like to hear, though. That's why we have talents. That's what makes HOTS great. Now, another very exciting hero we're getting big changes to after Imperius here is Malta. Rate strike has been nerfed by 1 second. No, 1 second. 1 range. No. What am I talking about? The range has been buffed by 1. The range. This is insane. Baseline. On top of that, this works with Malta's level 1 talent. Death's Reach. Increased diet with an extra 35. So, this is insane increasement, guys. Black Harvest. Quest goal reduced by 30. Guys, if you don't remember, the Black Harvest talent is the talent no one takes, unfortunately. It increases permanently Reaper mark by 2. I'm glad they nerfed the 30 seconds. Buffed. But honestly, I'm doing 100 Malteo Games challenge at the moment, and this is the talent I take the least pretty much, because this other talents are so good. The only time I would take this talent would be actually for this build with the sights, which is the Splash Massacre Mortality build. And the reason why I like taking it for this build is you have more time to teleport to someone, because look at this. The cooldown for Red Strike is 5 seconds. So, and the trade is 4. So imagine you're unable to mark someone, but you permanently increase this to 6. So now you would always have someone to teleport to, because it's 6 instead of 4, because the cooldown is 5. So you have always a 1 second window to teleport to someone, which is an insane combo between those talents. This is the only build that I figured out that Black Harvest could be valuable for. I wouldn't suggest it for the other builds, I feel like. What else we have here? Yes, Tormented Souls has finally been built, boys. Rejoice, no longer resets the cooldown on the race tracks when Tormented Souls ends. You still get the reset when you begin it, though. But also, don't feel bad that they removed that, because now reduces the cooldown on race track to 2 seconds and remove his mana cost while Tormented Souls is active. So this means that you pop Tormented Souls, you get a Red Strike when activated. After 2 seconds, you get another Red Strike. After 2 seconds, the final of the 4, you get another Red Strike. So you keep the Red Strike at the end, and you now get an additional Red Strike in the middle. And it has no mana cost. And Malta has been a hero with some mana problems. So this is a very good buff. But that doesn't end there, boys. Rejoice, Tormented Souls level 20. While 2 or more enemy heroes are in Tormented Souls radius, its duration does not decay. Finally. This was just baseline, increase it from 4 to 6. And you get resets on hero takedowns. Which was very hard to pull off consistently. Maybe if they made it 10. But now, it doesn't decay if you have a lot of heroes around you. So this not only makes the ult more enjoyable, but also enables Memento Mori a lot more as a talent, which we haven't been able to pick very often. The only way I've been figured out to use Memento Mori is for this very cool poke build that I figured out on Malta, which you need pretty much throwing Shade and Final Curtain. So the way you play this build is you just throw Final Curtain at people and you try to keep reapplying your mark, and at some point they don't get away with it quick enough that you can keep reapplying the mark so it starts proccing the deal extra 60 Memento Mori. That's the only build up to this point that I figured out that Memento Mori could be viable somehow. But now with Reaper of Souls not fading away, Memento Mori can have a little bit more love finally as well. Even though I feel like most people would just go for the mortality on Tormented Souls anyway, because now you can use this ability every 2 seconds. So, I don't know. I feel like this is still gonna stay for the final curtain build. But you know, if you're a more lazy Mateo player, you can just go Tormented Souls, Memento Mori, and chill. You cannot even argue that this can be good with Nano Boost, because sure, you get the extra damage with Nano, but then if you get Nano, you can also use this more often, because your ability cooldown is gonna be reduced from Nano. So it goes from 5 to 2 during Tormented Souls, and then with the Nano is like 30% from 2 to even less. And yeah, it's insane stuff gonna be going on here with Mateo, with Tormented Souls, I'll tell you that. What else we have? Zagara. This is the last one. Corrosive Saliva damage nerfed by 0.25%. I think this is a great change. It's the most go-to talent. People have forgotten about the other Zagara talents besides Mutalisk. Do you guys know that Zagara has an auto-attack talent on 60 that increases her range by 1 and gives her 50% damage on creep? I haven't, but it's not many opportunities I get to pick it because this is overpowered. I actually think that this might not be enough of a nerf. I think they should drop this to 1%. But yeah, this is a massive patch, guys. A lot of good changes. I wouldn't say those are reworks on some of the heroes, but big changes, especially on Imperius and Mauteo. You don't really need to go too much into the bugs here. If you want, you can go to, but I think one of the bugs they fixed was the Medivh situation. Yeah, Glua, Polymorph during Raven form, the things you saw on Reddit, that's fixed now. So no more any Medivh abusers. So that's gonna be the patch from me, guys. Sorry it's a bit long, but you know, you can skip some of the points you didn't want to if you want. If you didn't want to, if you wanted, doesn't matter. You're at the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay righteous.